Well, hello amazing book lovers, my name is Ash and welcome back to my channel. I'll be honest, I filmed this entire video, it took me about 35 minutes and I'm refilming it because the lighting was horrible. And my headband that I wear every year for Spookopoly, you know, things, TBRs, it was slipping the entire time and it was like back here by the time I ended the video. So I decided to just refilm this. I took my glasses off so that there's no glare, so you might see my little nose dents, but alas, here we are. TBR for October. I am very excited to be doing this. I'm not really someone that likes to read horror, thriller, mystery, so if you're here for like a spooky TBR, that's not really gonna happen on my channel. I only have one horror book on this entire list, but I like to read a bunch of genres. As you know, I'm gonna be taking part in Spookopoly of October. I do this every year. I think the first year on BookTube I did Bookopoly, second year I did Spookopoly, and now I'm doing Spookopoly again. Now I already know that Spookopoly is usually cursed for me, which is not, you know, is pretty normal. So hopefully this year will be a lot nicer. Not only am I going to be doing Spookoplathon, but I'm also going to be taking part in my own readathon, which is the Library of Dragons Readathon, which is a Dungeons and Dragons based readathon where you have your own dragon and you actually get to go and do different things and you get to have a character and you get to do careers and you get to eventually do roles for December. And so there's a lot of things you can do and I am taking part in that, of course, myself because I made a readathon that I want to take part in. So a few of these prompts will be my own and some of them will be the Spookopoly prompts. So with that, let me get into my books. Now the first book I'm going to talk about is going to be one that I'm just going to cross over from September into October. I didn't complete it. I need to complete this for the Magical Readathon, and because I haven't started it yet, I must do so, and that is The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. This is also a perfect book for reading a book that has gold or silver on the cover for my own readathon for the Dragon's Hoard prompt, and this literally has gold all over it, so the spine or just under the dust jacket, perfect for this. So this does fulfill that prompt too, but I do have a whole prompt for that one. So this doesn't fulfill the gold prompt, but it definitely should and could. This is going to be one book I have to read for October. I keep putting it off, okay? I don't want to read it because I don't want to finish the duology. I don't want to finish this world. If Holly Black does another book in this world though, I feel like it might be too much. I feel like this world needs to stop, even though I really don't want it to. But anyway, Prisoner's Throne, I really want to get to this because I was supposed to read it in September and I haven't gotten to it yet. The other books I could potentially read are the next books in my manga series. I'm currently reading the Black Butler manga series. I am on volume 8, I think. This is volume 9, but I think I'm on 8. I just finished, or I'm at the very end of the circus arc. It's kind of just like random things happening right now, but it's like a paranormal old fantasy kind of setting in like Britain. Interesting concept. I don't really know what's happening in this world. There's not really a whole motive. It's just kind of like whatever happens happens, and I'm having a good time, I think, with it. It's kind of, I don't know, I think I'm liking it. I'm only a little bit confused. I also want to continue Berserk, which is a series that I love. It's probably my favorite manga series of all time, despite the fact that I still am not continuing it because I have commitment issues with my books. I just tend to not read the books I like because I don't want them to end. It's a problem I have. So let me go on to the roles for Spookopoly. I think I did 3 roles. I wanted to do 3 because I wanted to make this shorter for myself. I already have a few books I want to get to and I just don't want to overwhelm myself. And because I'm doing my own readathon and I'm doing a second one with Spookopoly, I didn't want to give myself too many prompts. So 3 is how many I want to roll for this month. I think last year and the year before I gave myself 4 or 5 rolls. So I'm going even lower than usual. Let's go on to my first roll. So unlike last year, hopefully the die will be nice to me, or the dice will be nice to me. Let's do the first roll. A 5 and a 2, which is a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A chance card. So as you saw from my first roll, I got a chance card. For the chance card, I'm actually going to be doing a scratch off card. I don't know if you can see it from where you are right now. I have scratch cards that has different books underneath it. There are some of your recommendations, some of the books that I want to get to. There's series I need to continue, booktuber's least favorite books of the year. There's a bunch of different books underneath these and it's really fun. I love doing this. Pink is romance, blue is fantasy, and green is other. So like manga, sci-fi, horror, thriller, anything like that. I'm going to do this off camera, show you what I get, and then I'll come back to you in a second. So let's see what I get for my scratch off cards. I'm going to do without looking and just pick one at random. Closing my eyes, you have to trust me. This one. I think dark green is one I have chosen myself, so I'm curious as to what I chose for myself. This is other categories. It's not fantasy, it's not romance, it's something in between. I found a nickel, so let's see what this one is. Oh, okay. Weight of the Stars is what I got for this chance card. Okay, so as you saw, I got The Weight of the Stars by Kay Ancrum. I have read from this author before, one book before, and I'm looking forward to seeing if I like any other books from them. This is about the protagonist who eventually finds a friend in another female character, and that female character has a mother who's an astronaut, so every single night she goes and looks at the sky every night to kind of be reminded of her mother. I think there's a reason why she's looking up. Maybe she's like waiting for the spaceship to return or something. So every single night they kind of have time together to look up at the sky. This is going to be a queer romance, I'm assuming sapphic, so I am looking forward to this. This is also going to be YA, which I'm a little bit more trepidatious about. I don't know if I will like it. Me and YA don't work well together sometimes, but I'm hoping for the best and hoping it all works out in the end. Okay, so now it is time for the second roll for Spookopoly. All right, second roll. Oh, 2 3s, of course. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jason. It was bound to happen, wasn't it? I knew I was going to be cursed for a second year in a row. I think it's either the October air and, you know, the autumnal Halloween vibes, or it's because I'm using my boyfriend's die. I think from now on, after this year, I'm going to be using my own dice because I think it's just using someone else's dice that's just cursing me. Now we are on to 4 rolls, but this is my second one, so I still have 2 more left after this. We'll see what happens. For this one I got Jason. For Jason I have to read a book with 13 letters in the cover. This one sounds not too difficult, but it has been so hard for me to find a book. I could not find one. I went through all the next books in a series, couldn't do it. I looked at 100 ebooks. I could not figure out a book with 13 letters. I managed to find a single book that had 13 letters in it that is on my ebook, Kindle, whatever you want to call it. This is also going to fulfill the prompt for a book that no one talks about for the Magical Readathon annual readathon. You have to read a book that no one mentions, talks about, you know nothing about, that kind of thing. So this is a book that no one talks about because it's very self-published, indie. It was a free book I got on my Kindle for one of my things I do every year where I do like Fab and Stuff Your Kindle Day. It was a free book. So no one has ever talked about this from my knowledge. This is Touch of Winter by L.K. Shear. This is a Why Choose maybe paranormal series, romance series, I'm not too sure. I think the main character is a kitsune, so there's potential for it to be some type of paranormal romance, which I love, so I'm not complaining. But it is also Why Choose, which I'm also not complaining about. I think it's MMFMM. There's so many M's. Oh my god. It's too many men for me to handle, but the protagonist has to deal with it, not me, so bless her. Good luck. I know there's going to be male themes in this book. There's going to be primal play, D/S. Oh god, I don't know. There was a few things on the synopsis that kind of gave me the vibe of what this book's about. There is potential, although it isn't highly rated and there are a few not so great reviews. The synopsis didn't really give me any information. It was kind of just like rhyming. It felt like the author was just doing a poem in the synopsis on Goodreads. So I'm not really sure exactly what this is about. I'm gonna give it a shot. It was free. I'm gonna give it a shot. I will obviously try to see if I like it. If I like it, that's great. I want to like the books I read. Okay, now for my third roll for Spookopoly. Now this is gonna be 3rd out of the 4 rolls now, hopefully. I'm not gonna say anything. Oh my god, 2 4s. So that's me 5 rolls. I hate my life. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pentacles. I'm just not gonna say anything. Maybe I should have just done 2 rolls, because 2 rolls would have been 4. All right, I don't even know what to do anymore. If I make 0 rolls, I might still get doubles somehow. That's just how I feel. So now we're on to 5 rolls. I guess I'm not going to be kind to myself in October, which I should have expected, but still. I landed on the Pentacles, which is to read a 5-star prediction. This is a little bit tricky for me. I don't really give books 5 stars, but because I've given a book in this series a 5 stars before, there's potential for me to do it, so I'm going to be choosing this book. So this is my 2nd sci-fi already on the list, which is I'm a little bit nervous about. I don't read sci-fi very often, so having 2 in 1 month is very different. And this is Cibola Burns by James S.A. Corey. This is, I think, the 4th book in the Expanse series. The last book in the Expanse series, I think it was the 3rd book, was the weakest in my opinion so far. The first 2 books I loved. The 3rd book, a little bit weak in my opinion, like I said. The 4th one, I'm hoping for the best. I really like the Expanse series. It's probably the best sci-fi series I've ever read. It's so well done. The politics are amazing and there's so many characters. It is getting to the point though where I'm kind of forgetting who's who because there's so many in every single book that's introduced that it's a little bit too much. My brain doesn't have a lot of memory stored. If I had a memory card in my brain, it would be a few gigabytes to the max. So I'm not that hopeful that I'll remember everyone's names and everything, but I'm really having a good time with it. It's so good. It's an epic space opera sci-fi series. There's 9 books total with a bunch of side books. I'm enjoying it. I'm hoping to finish the series next year because there are 9 books, like I said, and they're all over 500 pages. There's going to be a little bit of time me reading this series although I am having a good time with it. I'm probably gonna be reading this in October and November, so you'll probably will see this for next month as well. For my own readathon, I have to do the prompt to end my shift, which is to read a book that ends in 3 or 5 for the final page, and this one is 593 pages, so it perfectly works for this prompt, thankfully. Okay, so now we're gonna be moving on to the 4th roll, and I'm not gonna say anything. 4th roll. Okay, this is roll 4. Hopefully only 2 more rolls. Okay, a 4 and a 5. It's a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, dice roll roulette. Fun. I've been spared for this one, thankfully. This one is to roll 2 dice, and it will eventually accumulate a number of pages for me to read. So let me just go and roll the dice and see what I end up getting. Hopefully nothing too big, but let's see. 7. Not bad. So this is to read a book between 325 pages and 374 pages, which is actually pretty good. Although a lot of my books I want to read are like 500 plus pages for a series and stuff. So this one was a little bit tricky at the start, but luckily when I looked through my list, it was actually pretty easy for me to find a book between this page number. I did not get to this book in September, so hopefully in October I will be able to actually get to it and finish it. And this is Angel's Flight by Nalini Singh. This is the middle book between the first few books. I think they follow different couples, so it's not going to be the couples we've already seen before. It's going to be different ones. So I am kind of curious about this one. I want to see where it goes. I have started it, but I haven't finished it because I just have been having a hard time kind of getting through books right now. There are like 16 books in the Guild Hunter series, and I'm only on book 4 or 5. So I really need to get to this. This is a paranormal romance series with angels, archangels, and vampires. There is a lot of diversity in this. I think eventually there's going to be a male-male relationship, which I am dying for because I love those characters independently. So together, I can't even imagine. Now I'm going to be moving on to hopefully my final roll, and that is going to be my 5th roll. So let's get into that. Okay, a 6 and a 2. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Most recent purchase. Okay, so luckily that was my final roll. I am just glad that 5 was the maximum. This one you have to read your most recent purchase. Now I have only purchased 1 book in all of this entire year. That was for my birthday money, and I got The Prisoner's Throne. That's the only book I actually got this entire year. So I won't be using it for purchase because that doesn't really feel right. I'm going to be doing a library hold. I have a library hold that is currently on hold. I've been waiting for like a month for it, but someone else has it currently, and I'm hoping that it will be available to me in October. That is Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boyce. The cover sold me instantly. I am a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan, so instantaneously I was like, yes, I want to read this. I've never read a book with D&D in it, especially like a romance with D&D in it. Another reason that I want to read it is that look at the color scheme and then look at this adorable bat. It reminded me of the Pan flag, and that instantly also made me gravitate toward it. I don't think there's any pansexual characters in this book, but it's just nice to see color schemes, okay? I notice these things nowadays, all right? We have the protagonist and Nathan. Nathan is a gamer, and there is a girl online that he really has a crush on, and in order to get her jealous, I guess, he starts to fake date the protagonist. Over time, they spend time together, and Nathan has a D&D group, so she ends up joining his party in that group, and I guess they just kind of form a relationship between each other while they're fake dating. This is YA. I think it mentioned that the protagonist was like grounded or something, and I'm just like, oh my god, I haven't been grounded in like half of a lifetime. It's just weird to read YA as a 30-year-old and just like as an adult. I'm still looking forward to giving it a shot. Like I said, I love D&D so much. It's been something that's been like a huge part of my life the last few years. So I am looking forward to reading a book that has it integrated within it. And I just love the covers. Even the other covers for the rest of the series that are eventually going to be coming out are so cute. And I love the titles. They're all like D&D. I just love what the author did with this. And I just love the concept. Even if I don't love the book, I love the concept. And that's a point in my book. Now that Spookopoly is over, I only have 2 more books to talk about, and those are the 2 books I want to get to for myself and for my own readathon. One of those being a book with 25% or more of red on the cover. This is because I wanted my character to volunteer / work at the blood donation drive for blood dragons because he has his own, and he wants to have a humane and ethical way for dragons to consume blood without, you know, hurting people. So for this one, I actually chose a book that I should have gotten to a long time ago. I want to read Stephen King's books chronologically, and because Gavin is doing it from Gavin Knows It All, that's not it. Oh my god. I'm so used to How to Train Your Gavin. Gavin Reads It All. And because Gavin Reads It All is reading chronologically the Stephen King books, I feel like now I should be motivated to do this. I started this years ago, and I've just been kind of slacking. So now that he's doing this, and I want to watch his videos and, you know, read the books before watching his videos, I'm going to continue this too, because I really want to. And for this one, it's going to be Firestarter. As you can see, there's at least a quarter of the book is red, so it's a perfect book for this. All I know about this book is that it follows a man and his daughter, I think, and the daughter has telekinesis. Might be wrong in that. You might also be able to control fire because, I mean, there's Firestarter and there's fire on the cover. So it is kind of giving me like a Carrie vibe, but I know it's not Carrie. It just kind of gives me that similar vibe. So I'm interested to see what happens in this book, and I really want to actually, you know, read it. I want to do reading vlogs on all the Stephen King books, so I might do that as well, but we'll see if I actually end up doing that. But I at least have one like thriller on this entire list. That's something, right? That's something. So I have the last book, and the 8th book on this list is going to be one that I have to fill for the Dragon Horde prompt for my readathon, and that is to read a book with gold or silver on the cover. It could also be under the dust jacket, and it could also be a color that represents gold or silver, so it doesn't have to be gold or silver, as long as it looks similar to the color. So with this one, I do have it under the cover, but it's also going to be a color that's kind of on the cover itself, and that is A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. I have not finished this trilogy. I think I started it in 2018 or 2019 and I didn't complete it. And then I started rereading the series again last year and still haven't finished it. I only have one book left though, and that's A Conjuring of Light. So this is the 3rd and final book in the Shades of Magic trilogy. Right here, this color right here, this very much reminds me of gold, the color right here. So I think that does count. If it doesn't count though, this definitely does count because it's gold under the dust jacket. I've been putting this off for a very long time now. This is a very popular, especially older YA fantasy series that features Kel. He is able to traverse through different Londons and it's really cool. It's like alternate universe and he's able to transfer between them, and then he accidentally transfers a human between them, which he shouldn't be even doing objects, let alone people. And stuff starts to happen. It's really interesting. It's really cool. It's a staple in the booktube community. I remember seeing this trilogy when I started watching booktube in 2018. So it's just really weird to be potentially finishing this. Now, because it's a readathon prompt, like I said, I actually do have to read it to fulfill it. Although I don't really have to. I could probably just read Prisoner's Throne, but I'm gonna try my best to actually do this. I read this because Homestyle Reads was the one that wanted me to read this, and I think I started reading it last year because of her. I need to do this for them and try finishing this before the end of the year. I also want to finish my series before the end of the year and at least get like a few done, and this is one of the few series I only have one book left of, so I really want to get to it. That is it. That is the 8 books I want to read in October. I will put them all up here because I don't have them all physically. A lot of them are going to be either ebooks or library books, and I don't have them currently right now. I'll put them up right here to show you all the books I plan on reading for the month of October. I will probably have to read some of them in November, but that's fine. I don't really mind too much. I haven't been reading a whole lot in September. I'm hoping in October my reading mood will come back to me full force. That's a bit optimistic, but I like to try to be optimistic, okay? I don't have a lot of optimism in my life, so I try my best to overcompensate. I haven't hit it yet, but I probably will very soon. So I just want to say thank you so much for everyone for helping me hit 700 subscribers. Crazy. I think my goal was around 700 this year, so I'm just like so over the moon that I even reached that many. I know I'm not that consistent. I would love to film more. I'm gonna try my best to do that near the end of the year, but I'm just like so thankful for everyone. I would love to do eventually live sprints and like doing my own live streams, but I have to see if my social anxiety allows me to do that. For the time being though, just thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking part in my readathon. Thank you for subscribing, for liking, or just watching this video. You don't have to do any of those things. Just thank you for watching. And like, the booktube community has been the best part of this entire channel, and I just appreciate you all so much. I've met some amazing people on this channel. I appreciate you all so much. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great October. Hope you have some amazing reads in October as well. And I hope the rolls were nice to you if you were taking part in Spookopoly. Have a great day and goodbye everyone.